Hi everyone, so if you're currently taking sleeping tablets and you would like to rebuild your confidence in your natural ability to sleep, or if you're feeling that you might like to gently start moving away from them, or if you feel a huge amount of shame suffering around sleeping tablets, then 100% this video is for you. And there's going to be nothing scary in it. It's going to be soft, it's going to be gentle, because I know exactly how you feel, because during my own insomnia, I was on them for 20 years and I managed to get off of them, and you can too, if you feel you would like to do so. No pressure here whatsoever. And just a little disclaimer, no medical advice. Please speak to your doctor before making any changes to your sleeping tablets. Alrighty, so probably one of the most important things to understand when it comes to sleeping tablets is that they don't actually make you sleep. And I'm going to say that again. Sleeping tablets do not make you sleep. They do not produce sleep at all. And that might be quite a strange thing to hear, because you think, well, no, I've got all this evidence in the past. I've been on sleeping tablets for 5 or 10 years. For me, they definitely do produce my sleep. So how can that be true? And the reason why sleeping tablets do not actually produce sleep is because it's impossible for them to do that. The only thing, and you probably have this if you've been on my channel before for a long time, is the only thing that makes you sleep is your homeostatic sleep drive, your internal drive for sleep. And of course, the only thing that builds your sleep drive is wakefulness, being awake. And sleeping tablets do not create any homeostatic sleep drive. They don't create that drive to sleep. So how do they work? Well, the way sleeping tablets work is through sedation. They stop the brain from being able to form complex thought patterns, which lead to the fight or flight stress response, the hyperarousal. So if you don't have these thought patterns that lead to the anger, the stress, the worry, then you don't get that physiological response, the heart rate increase, the sweaty palms, the racing heart. You don't get that. And so they prevent and dampen down that physiological response. As long as there's that natural drive to sleep there, then you will fall off to sleep. And I think it's incredibly helpful to understand that sleeping tablets don't actually produce sleep, because when you really do get that deep understanding, you realize, I've always wanted to have natural sleep. Sorry, mosquitoes all around me. I've always wanted to have natural sleep, but I have always been sleeping naturally, even the nights that I've been taking sleeping tablets. And when you get that deep understanding, suddenly a lot of that struggle when it comes to sleeping tablets comes down, when you do actually realize that you have been sleeping naturally all this time. And certainly sleeping tablets do work for some people, but really I think it's helpful to see them not as something that produces sleep, but as an aid to your sleep, not the thing that is actually creating and manufacturing sleep, because this is you doing it all by yourself. And I think you intuitively know this to be true, because if you think about the time you've had sleeping tablets in the past, and you've taken a whole tablet and you've not slept, and there's other times that maybe you've gone to bed and you've had more of a drive to sleep, or you've had less anxiety, or you don't even know why, but maybe you took half a tablet and you slept, or you took no tablet and you slept, then it starts kind of undermining the fact that sleeping tablets are the only thing that can produce your sleep. And so when you start seeing them more as an aid towards your sleep, rather than the thing that creates and manufacture it, there's an important mindset shift you can have to start breaking down that attachment towards your sleeping tablets. And sleeping tablets, people with insomnia have a huge amount of attachment to, because they're the thing that help you escape the, what I call when I had my own insomnia, the torture chamber at night time. They give you predictability back to your sleep. They give you certainty back to your sleep. And when you actually kind of start breaking the idea down that they are the thing producing your sleep and you're doing it all by yourself, suddenly you start getting more confidence back that you can sleep naturally again. Well, not naturally because you're already sleeping naturally, but without the need for that aid in order to sleep. And this can be a very empowering thought to know that no sleeping tablets are not actually the thing that are produced in my sleep. So yeah, sleeping tablets do help dampen down your thoughts. But another thing that sleeping tablets can do and the way they can work is through something called delegation. Have you ever had the feeling where you've taken a sleeping tablet and you've slept after 5 or 10 minutes? Now, physiologically, that's not impossible. That's impossible because that's too quick for the sleeping tablet to actually take effect. And yet you've taken a sleeping tablet and you've fallen asleep like that. So what's going on there? Well, on that circumstance, what you're doing is you're delegating the work of sleeping to the sleeping tablet. You say, okay, well, I can't sleep by myself, but after I've taken a sleeping tablet, I can sleep. So you take the sleeping tablet and then the relaxation comes over you because you kind of go, okay, well, I can relax now. That fight, that force, that effort, I usually go into bed with that battle. I'm not going to have that battle anymore because I know that after a sleeping tablet, I sleep, you relax, that fight or flight stress response come down and you sleep. So what you've done there is you've delegated the work of sleeping to the tablet. And so sleeping tablets have a physiological aspect to them, but they definitely have a psychological aspect as well, where just the feeling of taking them causes a huge amount of relief. And how do you get that feeling back without needing to take the sleeping tablet at all? Well, this is where this channel comes in. This is where all the thought pattern changes come in. This is where rebuilding your sleep drive comes in. Strengthening your body clock, regulating your body clock, doing the exercises that I outline on this channel to take away the fear, the anxiety, the worry around your sleep. And these are the things that can slowly help replace the need for your sleeping tablet. So incredibly helpful when you start getting that understanding. Okay, well, first of all, sleeping pills don't make me sleep. Second of all, they're an aid to my sleep. Thirdly, there have been loads of times where I've taken a sleeping tablet and not slept, and there's loads of times where I've taken a smaller dose and slept, and there's been loads of times where I've taken a sleeping tablet, come within 5-10 minutes falling asleep without it even needing to take effect. So if you've got this all or nothing thinking with insomnia, this really kind of black and white approach, I can't sleep without sleeping tablets. Anything you can do to kind of undermine that, give yourself that confidence back in your innate ability to sleep, is incredibly, incredibly helpful. Hey everyone, 15 seconds. If you're finally ready to be free of your insomnia, I offer online consultations to people from all over the world. I've also got a step-by-step program, videos, audio books, personalized support from me, a wonderful supportive community, tons of other things I've got on offer as well to help you. All on my website, sleepsy.com. Check it out. And so I said earlier that I'm going to help share with you a way to start slowly moving away from sleeping tablets if you feel you would like to do that. Well, again, no pressure here whatsoever. If you've got a huge amount of attachment to taking sleeping tablets, it's not actually something I recommend that you do right away when you're starting your CBTI treatment. So often when I'm working with people, if they say they're on sleeping tablets, probably 95% of my clients are mirtazapine, Ambien, Seroquel, you name it, people have been on them. 95% of my clients are probably on some sleep aid tablet or another. And often that causes a lot of fear and anxiety. Do I need to stop taking this tablet before I can start CBTI? And my answer is absolutely no. What we want to be doing is getting you comfortable enough with your innate ability to sleep. We want to put these behavioural changes in place. Again, I'm not going to outline them in this video. I'm going to cue them up in the comment section if you want to find them. But I'm going to put these behavioural changes in place. Sleep window, reducing your time in bed. Counter or stimulus control, where you don't allow yourself to fight, force and ruminate in bed. Getting stuck back into your days again. Cognition works to deal with the thought patterns around sleep. Put these behavioural changes in place. And then when you start seeing your sleep improve, regardless of whether it's on the sleeping tablets or not, because as I said before, you can take sleeping tablets and sleep badly, you can take sleeping tablets and sleep well, but if you can start taking sleeping tablets and doing the behavioural changes at the same time, and start seeing that the predictability around your sleep is improving, then your sleep drive is building, you get that sleepy feeling building up throughout the day and during the evening, then you reach a kind of a point where you start feeling that you are confident enough to start slowly moving away from them. So what I like to do with people first, put the behavioural changes in place first of all, full permission to take sleeping tablets for as long as you want, and then when you actively feel that you would like to slowly start moving away from them, when you don't feel like you're being pushed to do that, when you're feeling, you know what, I could still take a sleeping tablet, but I'm feeling so confident now that I can actually sleep. I've had 2, 3, 4 weeks where my sleep has certainly improved. The obsession, the worry around my sleep has started to come down. I feel in a much better place. I feel my shoulders back. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right. Now's the time that I would like to start moving away from them. That is when often I would say to people, okay, often when people reach that point, they think, well, I want to chuck them all out now. I want to stop taking them immediately to prove to myself I can sleep without sleeping tablets. And then that's the kind of a wrong mindset, and that's the wrong approach, because that is you making more effort to sleep. That is you trying really hard to sleep. And what happens when you have that mindset where you think I'm going to have that all or nothing approach, reducing or stopping my sleeping tablets? Either I take sleeping tablets or I don't. Well, then you're creating a challenge to yourself. You're kind of saying to yourself, well, okay, either I can sleep with sleeping tablets or without, and if I can have a night where I don't take sleeping tablets and sleep perfectly, get 7 hours of sleep, then I've made it, I've done it, I've proved to myself I can do this thing. And if I can't, I'm going to feel dreadful, I'm going to feel awful, I'm going to feel terrible. Kind, soft, gentle, patience, no rush. This is how you overcome insomnia, and this is how you want to approach reducing sleeping tablets. And then, of course, speak to your doctor before making any changes at all. What I would normally advise is that instead of this all or nothing approach, it's if you've got, say, a sleeping tablet that you can safely reduce by taking a small amount of, you slowly start tapering your sleeping tablet down over the weeks. A slow taper is what I would always advise, because you don't have that all or nothing approach. You don't have any physical withdrawals from coming off of them, and it's just a far safer way of doing it. Not just physiologically, because you don't want to be stopping any medication quickly, cold turkey. Again, speak to a doctor before making any changes, but also psychologically, you don't want this all or nothing thinking. I like people to feel, okay, well, if I can sleep on 100% of a tablet, what's 90% of a tablet? Of course I can do that. How about 80% of a tablet? Can I do that? That slow sort of reduction down takes away that all or nothing thinking when it comes to your tablets. And guys, if you want a step-by-step approach where you kind of have the structure approach, on my program, sleepsy.com, which you'll find on the website, you'll find the full program which takes you through the entire course, which includes how to reduce your sleeping tablets in a really structured way. But yeah, this slow tapering is what I would always recommend for people, so that you don't have that fear when you stop taking them. Anything that creates more anxiety, anything where you feel you have to do something because you want to prove something or you want to challenge yourself, opposite mindset, not helpful when it comes to your sleep. So that's if you'd like to start coming off with them. Let's tackle a really important point when it comes to sleeping pills. The guilt, the shame a lot of people feel when they are taking them. This might not apply to you, but it certainly did for me. You know, when I went to go to my doctors to get my prescription, it almost felt like I was asking for illegal drugs, something that I almost felt dirty and ashamed of myself for asking for something that I really needed, because I felt weak, but I wasn't able to overcome insomnia by myself. And I think that's a really kind of damaging thought process to have. If you had hay fever and you asked for hay fever tablets, you wouldn't feel that way. Diabetes, you ask for that medication, you wouldn't feel that way. Please don't feel that way about sleeping tablets. When all you're offered is sleep hygiene, tips, tricks, hacks, and nothing else, if someone offers you something where you can escape from the bed in the bedroom back at night time, of course you're going to grab it with both hands. And people with insomnia, what it does to your self-esteem, your confidence, your self-worth, it really does chip away at you. And so please don't feel like taking sleeping tablets is another thing that lowers your confidence and self-esteem. You can get offered them, but there's no rush, there's no pressure. You can do CBTI without while still on sleeping tablets. Just get to the point where you feel happy and confident that you no longer feel that you want to be taking them. You need to be taking them, and let go of any guilt and shame. If that is you, it really shouldn't be. It's something, I think no criticism of doctors at all, because they receive so little sleep medicine training, but when you go there and they kind of tell you you really shouldn't be taking them and offer you no kind of other doorway out, it can be something that really does make you feel guilty, and just not helpful to this condition. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for stopping by. You probably noticed a little bit of a change in my videos. I kind of a bit more relaxed and chat at the camera, and they're a bit slower paced, and hopefully you like the new style. I kind of thought if I'm gonna get 500 views per video, I might as well make them how I want to make them and do them how I want to do them. And the people that need that help, that need the support, that are happy to sit through and watch the whole way through, are really the ones that are engaged and are really motivated to get out of this condition. The ones that bounce after 10 minutes because it doesn't have B-roll and flashy things, well, they're probably not going to have the motivation and commitment to overcoming insomnia anyway. So I think I'm going to continue making them like this because I like it. It's nice, and I get to chill and chat to the camera, and hopefully if you like it, here we go. Let me know, and I might go back to your way, but probably won't. So any questions, stick them in down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks guys, bye bye.